Hey everyone, talking about the top 5 best milky fragrances with lactonic accords, very creamy and milky. These are mostly feminine leaning and unisex, but I would also recommend even if you prefer more masculine leaning fragrances, these are great for the most part for using as layering to kind of add a bit of like milky vanilla to maybe something that you like that's really spicy or woodsy or other stuff like that. So I still think there's something for everybody's taste here. Let's jump in. These are in no particular order. First up, Comptoir Sud Pacifique, Vanilla Extreme, the Eau de Toilette version. The official notes are Tahitian vanilla and spices. This is so just delicious. It's not trying to be a challenging, highbrow, niche vanilla, but it also smells way less cloying and less sharp than some of the kind of cheapy vanillas out there, even though this is very fairly priced in my opinion. It goes for $85 for 100 ml, less when you get it during a sale or something too. It's like milky, creamy vanilla ice cream in a waffle cone. Leans feminine by itself, but layering it with something like By the Fireplace still makes it so totally wearable for me, even though I prefer kind of more unisex or masculine leaning fragrances. It's something that when I smell it, I just cannot stop smelling it. It is so addictive. Good longevity and moderate projection. Usually with milky fragrances, you're not going to get a ton of projection unless they overload them with musk. And I'm going to put a link for all of these in the description where you could get a bottle or sample if you want to check them out. Next up, Zoologist Cow. For some people, this doesn't go as milky on their skin. There is a milk note though in it. It goes very milky to me and I love it. This is one of the rare full bottle worthy fragrances to me. The notes in it are sage, apple, milk, lily of the valley, heliotrope, violet, jasmine, cedarwood, vetiver, benzoin, musks, and amber. This opens like a delicious like smoothie to me. Not in the sense of really like being fruity, but more like that milky, creamy, light sweetness of a smoothie. Really, really wearable, even if you don't normally like zoologist stuff and find them challenging. In fact, a lot of people were mad who are typical zoologist fans, like, this one doesn't smell weird enough. I do think it's very unique, though. I can think of very few other fragrances that smell just like this. And so it has that originality and kind of interesting factor, but still so pleasant, so wearable. It's like comforting. It's like the idea of like taking a bubble bath in a warm pasture or something, just cozy and great design. I love cows, so that's nice as well. And it's also clean without being boring, safe, inoffensive, but still unique and intriguing. Great for warm weather. So this is for people who want a milky accord but don't want it to be like so over the top milky. And this one is easily unisex, leaning a bit feminine for some. On my skin, it's definitely unisex. Decent longevity and low projection for that one. That one goes for $175 for a 60 ml. I love everything from the packaging to the concepts to the quality of the ingredients that Zoologist does, so I think that that's not unfair. Third, Molton Brown Milk Musk, the Eau de Toilette version. The Eau de Parfum I still like, but to me it's not as actually milky, surprisingly, since that's supposed to be stronger. But the notes in this one are pear, peach, musk, ambroxan, vanilla, white cedarwood, tonka bean, cashmere, and milk. So nice, really calming, like feels just like an afternoon nap on a sunny day, or at least a daydream of a nap. The comparisons to Zoologist Cow that some people make are pretty accurate in my opinion. It's definitely not a dupe or anything like that, but it kind of has that similar vibe if you've tried that one, just without any of the kind of more aromatic or woodsy notes. No surprise that I love it, since as mentioned, I also love cow. I think this could be seen as more stereotypically feminine leaning, but I also think it could be easily unisex depending on who's wearing it. So yeah, just so relaxing, such a like pleasant cocoon of a milky scent, decent longevity, and fairly low projection. That goes for $120 for 100 ml. I think that's a perfectly good deal for that. Next up, Britney Spears Sunset Fantasy, a flanker to the popular fantasy line. The notes in this are apple, blood, grapefruit, Italian mandarin, raspberry leaf, orange blossom peach, amber, sandalwood, milk mousse, and vanilla. So that one is just so good. And so like when I smell that, it's just like, oh my God, this is good. It's too stereotypically feminine leaning for my personal taste of what I like to wear. And it's not the type of thing that's just only about milk or anything like that, but that milk mousse adds such a nice creaminess that is just absolutely addictive to smell. To me, it's definitely one of the, I would say, top 20 best feminine leaning fragrances I've ever smelled in terms of just what I'd love to smell if my wife or friend wore it around me. Really, really good. And you can get 100 ml for under $25. Longevity and projection are only moderate on this, but honestly kind of better than they are for some of the more expensive ones in this list. Definitely leans very, very stereotypically feminine. Anyone sure to wear it if they want to, but this is not one that's going to be, mostly stereotypically unisex leaning feminine. It's very much just like very feminine leaning, but so good. It's the type of thing that I like to just smell sometimes from a decant, even though I don't wear it. Lastly, this is the most creative one on the list, I would say, in terms of kind of the weird factor. Hilde Soliani Hot Milk. The notes in it are milk and hot pepper, which might sound disgusting, but it's actually really fun and obviously weird. Unique, really is milky and spicy at the same time, which is a combination I very rarely encounter, probably for good reason, because most people wouldn't be able to pull that off. Hilde Soliani does great things with gourmand notes. Such a great, I guess you'd probably consider her more indie than niche, I'm not sure, but whatever category you want to put her in, she's an amazing perfumer for gourmands and some other kinds too. On me, the spices come out enough in this one to make it feel masculine, but on a test strip, it smells very unisex or even feminine leaning to me. So I think this is, yeah, just going to depend on your skin, but it could easily still be unisex. And almost has like a Tiger Balm type of way of feeling like warm and cool at the same time. Not that it smells like Tiger Balm, but just that kind of like duality of the warmth and the coolness. Really creative and interesting. Moderate longevity and low projection. That goes for 160 for 100 ml. And yeah, like I mentioned, I will link in the description where you can get bottle or sample or any of these. If you like milky notes, I definitely recommend trying any of these. They all kind of are, for the most part, in their own lane. I would say that like Zoologist Cow and Molton Brown Milk Musk EDT are kind of more, a little bit more similar than some of the others, but for the most part, I think these are a good variety of different price ranges, different between, you know, some being more unisex, some being like explicitly very feminine, just a lot of different stuff going on that you can kind of choose from. But I really like all of these. I think they're all really fun and very satisfying for the Milky Accord. So yeah, if you've tried any of these, let me know what you think. There's a lot of other Milky fragrances that I like too that I didn't include, but I wanted to make this a top 5. If you have any favorites that I did not include, just let me know.